This is probably the most futuristic pair of sneakers that I've ever reviewed. And of course, you guys already know what it is from the title and the thumbnail. I ordered this pair, or I guess pre-ordered this pair, back in November of last year. It's now almost the end of June 2024, and we finally got it in. So I actually got this pair in the mail the day that the Sneakers app release happened, which is, well, today, the day I'm filming this video. And as we all saw on the Sneakers app, this pair was incredibly limited and sold out immediately. Well, I guess it was a draw, but still, there was apparently only 1,000 pairs on the Sneakers app, according to RTFKT and Nike. Wow, the inside of this box is really cool. On one flap, it says Forging Complete, and then on the other flap, it is the RTFKT logo. I wonder if this is packaging that you get when you order the shoe from the Sneakers app. Probably not. This is wild. So if you guys didn't already know, this is the RTFKT Nike Dunk Genesis in the Void colorway. Now, I had the chance to buy both the Void and the Ghost colorway, and for whatever reason, I just decided to buy the Void colorway. Or maybe it was just a chance to buy one of them, and I chose the Void colorway. But either way, kind of regretting it now, because I definitely prefer the Ghost colorway. I think I just bought the Void colorway because I thought it would be the one that would look better in a thumbnail. And not only is it less limited than the Ghost colorway, but it also doesn't look as good, at least in my opinion. But I haven't seen the shoe in person. Could look amazing, who knows? But if you're not familiar with RTFKT, RTFKT is a Web3 company, one of the leaders in the space, and they actually have been working on digital sneakers and products for years now, and they teamed up with Nike to create their own sneaker, the Dunk Genesis. And it really is a wild thing, because not only is this a physical product, but there's also a digital version that you get with the shoe that you can actually scan with some sort of NFC chip in the shoe, and you can also download and 3D print more parts to the shoe, because they give you files to do that as well, which is something that I might have to try in the future. Probably won't be able to do it for this video because I'm trying to get out the review as quickly as possible, but let me know in the comment section down below if that's something you guys want to see. But with all that being said, why don't we take a look at the box. On the top, you've got this little window with the RTFKT logo. I guess it's this way, because I think the RTFKT logo goes like this. It's a lightning bolt. You've got this cool, like, metal, futuristic inspired design. You've got RTFKT written right there and another RTFKT logo. And then through the window, you've got some RTFKT hammers printed on the paper in black. The rest of the box is also in that same sort of like metal box theme with more RTFKT logos all the way around. But what's interesting about this box, besides just the overall printing and design of it, is that you actually open the box from the side, at least from what it looks like. It seems like it's actually a side drawer box, which I've never seen before on a pair of Nike sneakers. But before we open it up, let's first take a look at the size tag. So I grabbed a size 9, which is my true size. This is the RTFKT Nike Dunk Genesis V, or Void Genesis. The official colorway is Black Wild Berry. And I'll be honest, I really don't know what to expect with this pair of shoes. I wasn't at Complex Con, I didn't see them in person, so I really don't know what they're gonna look like, what they're gonna feel like. So let's just pop them open. I'll give you guys my first impressions, then I'll wear them for a while and come back and give you guys a full review. Wow, this really is a crazy box, huh? I review a lot of sneakers, but this is a brand new experience for me. Looks like you've got a sticker bag. Now, I'm not planning to resell these sneakers. I'm planning to keep them because I think they will become like a legendary Nike release, in my opinion. I do wish I had bought the other colorway, but it is what it is. Oops, you stepped into the future. Dunk files in metallic silver. A bunch of like cool, wow, themed stickers. Wow, you've got that. I don't know what that robot's called, but you've got that. Pretty rad with the RTFKT shoe. And then you've also got this this sticker with all the different RTFKT shoes on it. A couple of these colorways were only released to people who actually are part of the RTFKT program or have the RTFKT app or are members or whatever it is that you have to be to buy some of them. And then you've also got this. I don't know exactly what these are, but they are the name of the sneakers. You've got Void, Genesis, Ghost, and Clone X. Pretty cool. This is a really cool package. Now, the price point for this shoe is $222, which is kind of wild. I've never seen that done for a pair of Nikes before. So it is more expensive than a standard pair of Dunks by like 110 bucks. And I pre-ordered these, like I said, last November, so it's been over 6 months since I bought these. However, they did say they were going to release in June, so I knew it was going to be a while before I got them. And like I said, they did release on the Sneakers app today in incredibly limited numbers, also only in the Void colorway. But here we go. Look at that. So this is the RTFKT Nike Dunk Genesis. This is not a Nike Dunk Low. This is not a standard Nike Dunk. This is a whole new Nike Dunk silhouette, obviously based on the standard Nike Dunk, but it's completely redesigned from the ground up as much as you can on an existing silhouette. They're not as heavy as I was expecting them to be because they've got so much stuff on them. I was expecting them to be heavier than this, but they're not. So apparently you get 2 tongue clips and 2 heel clips. I couldn't find the other tongue clip, but it was actually inside one of the shoes. The way this works is that you can actually slide these guys on or remove them if you want. And it gives you a sort of a new look on the sneaker. I think I'll actually slide these on and leave them on because I kind of like the way it looks. It makes it look very futuristic and very wild. I feel like I should make a futuristic sound when I do this. Is that all the way in? Yeah, it looks like it. Oh, I missed. The sound distracted me. Here we go. I feel like an idiot. Okay, continuing on. We've got the tongue clips right here, which I'll slide in like this. It's weird assembling your sneakers. In the shoe, pre-laced, you've got standard wax flat laces, but you've also got a set of laces that feature some sort of like TPU or rubbery plastic finish on them, which is kind of wild. I guess we'll talk about these more later on in the video. And then you've also, in this little bag, in addition to the extra laces, you've got these heavy crystal containers. I'm not sure what these are. Okay, I'm gonna click this guy in. That's actually kind of cool. That's kind of rad. I kind of dig that. This is kind of like the Lego sneaker. You know what I mean? There's so much stuff that you can assemble and put together. It's pretty cool. I didn't think I was gonna like these shoes that much, I'll be honest. And that's why, again, I don't know if I could have bought 2 or just 1, but that's why I only went with 1 if I did have the option to get 2, because I just didn't know if I was gonna like it. And I'll be real, I like it. Now, is this a shoe that I'd wear all the time? I don't know, I guess we'll have to try them on to find out, but there's a lot of really cool details on this sneaker, a lot of things that were added, like they changed the material in the midsole to make it more comfortable. There's an air unit in there. You've got the Nike logo, you've got the Artifact logo. A lot of cool Easter eggs in this sneaker that I want to talk about in the full review, so why don't I go try these guys on and let you know how they feel on foot. So I've got a brand new pair of shoes to show you.
All right, let's see them. Ooh.
These are from the internet. So these are a collaboration between Nike and this Web3 company called Artifact. They made these shoes digitally first, and then they just like poofed into real life. So here they are.
What's on the tongue?
So this, still not sure.
I thought it was a level.
It kind of looks like a level.
Like the ones that come with command straps.
Yo, it looks like a level up, if I'm being honest.
Oh.
Ooh. Actually, speaking of which, if you want to level up with the brand new Apothecary 80s Night Retro Gaming Collection, actually matches perfectly with these shoes. It's crazy.
I like those socks. I was going to say, look at you, matching perfectly.
Epic gamer, no cap. Okay, so let me throw these guys on feet, see how they feel, see how they fit, see if they're comfy, because apparently they redesigned the midsole, so let's level up. I feel nice. I feel like they fit true to size. Maybe a little bit wider than regular Dunks. Well, definitely more plush than regular Dunks. Maybe about the same amount of plushness as SB Dunks, but they fit better than SB Dunks do. I definitely think they fit true to size. And that redesigned midsole is nice. It's definitely soft underfoot, but it's not like crazy soft. What do you think? What would you give them out of 10?
I don't know. They're kind of cool. They're kind of nostalgic for me. I feel like everything was hot pink and black growing up.
Oh, okay.
Like those early 2000s, everything I had was hot pink and black.
That's interesting that you say that, because these are apparently like, Nike says that they're like stepping into the future. So they're supposed to be futuristic.
Well, fashion is also cyclical.
True,
so
fair enough.
5 or 6.
5 or 6 out of 10?
Yeah, maybe a 5.
Oh, so that's low. Well, these are actually probably one of the most limited pairs of sneakers that I've showed you in a while.
Interesting.
Like there's only like 11,000 pairs of these ever.
I mean, it's just a personal rating. I just feel like they have a lot going on. You might think that's cool.
No, I'm kind of with you on that. I'm going to talk about it later on in the review, but like they definitely feel like they're busy. I think I like them for what they are and not so much how they look.
That makes sense.
But overall, I'd say true to size. And with that being said, back to the studio. It didn't work that time. I don't know what happened. All right. So I've had some time with the Artifact Nike Dunk Genesis, and I've got to say that this is a pretty different experience from anything that I've had with any other sneaker, which I guess makes sense because this sneaker is different than really any other sneaker that I've experienced. So like I already mentioned, this shoe was available for pre-order after Complex Con last year. I believe it was in November for a retail price of $222 in both the Void colorway and the Ghost colorway. And apparently there's a total of 11,394 pairs of the Void colorway, 1,000 of which released on the Sneakers app today, June 21st, for the same retail price of $222. Now, of course, I've made sure to leave resale links to this shoe through the YouTube shopping tab if you happen to miss out on the Sneakers app release today, which I'm sure you did, because 1,000 pairs is nothing. And from what I can tell, there's never going to be another release of the Void colorway. That's it. Possibly releases of other colorways in the future, but as far as the Void goes, this is the only one. And to be honest, if you missed out on these guys, I'm not sure if now is the time to grab them, because the resale price is sitting between $500 and $800 depending on your size. The problem is, I don't really know where the price of this sneaker is going to go, and that's why I use the sponsor of today's video, ARBIT. ARBIT is a free app that allows you to check the price of any sneaker that you're interested in on all the major platforms at once. So rather than having to swipe through all the different apps like I've been doing for the last couple of years to find out which one has the best price for the sneaker that I'm interested in, I just check ARBIT. And I love the fact that it shows all of the different prices on the different apps on the same page, so you can just click on the app that you want and it takes you directly to the shoe in that app. It's awesome. I absolutely love it and I use it all the time. And you can use it to check the price of pretty much any sneaker like the Artifact Dunks that we're talking about today. And if a sneaker that you really want is out of your price range right now, like the Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low Canaries, I've been trying to grab that sneaker for a while, but it's a little bit too expensive. You can actually watch that sneaker on the app and it'll notify you if the price drops. The other feature that I love is the ARBIT Insight feature, which tracks the price of any sneaker that you're interested in. It shows you what it was 6 months ago, what it is today, and what they project it to be in the next couple weeks. So it really helps me decide when to pull the trigger on the sneakers that I'm interested in. So make sure to check out ARBIT for yourself. It's free and you can download it by clicking the link in the top of the description below. And once again, huge thank you to ARBIT for sponsoring today's video. Over the last year or so, Nike has been trying to dive into the Web3 space with .swoosh and by partnering with Artifact. And actually to date, they've already released like 4 or 5 different different pairs of sneakers that are either inspired by Web3 or feature a digital counterpart. And the Artifact Nike Dunk Genesis is one of those shoes that actually feature a digital counterpart. You can scan the NFC in this shoe and you get the digital version of this shoe. Now, to be honest with you, I've been trying for the last 30 minutes to try and find the NFC tag and figure out how to scan it. I can't figure it out. I'm sure I'm going to figure it out like 5 minutes after I film this review, which is going to be really frustrating. But for whatever reason, my phone doesn't want to connect to the shoe. I can't figure out which app to download. I can't find the NFC tag. I don't know how to redeem the digital version of the shoe. To be fair, I don't know what I'd do with it. It would just be kind of cool to say that I have a digital version of this shoe, but that's pretty much the extent of it. With that being said, it is very cool that you can download a digital version of this shoe, because that means that there are CAD models, which means that you can actually 3D print different parts of the shoe based on those CAD models, which makes it significantly easier to design 3D parts for this shoe. At least I'm assuming. I don't have the 3D model, so I'm not 100% sure. It could be locked down in the blockchain or whatever. I don't know how that all works. I probably shouldn't be reviewing these shoes because I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I do know that you can 3D print different parts for the shoe. I already mentioned that a little bit. We'll talk about that again more later on in the video. But I say all that to say, when you buy this shoe, you not only get this physical version, but you also get a digital version. And it's up to you what you want to do with both this shoe and that shoe. So there's a lot about this shoe which I honestly don't understand. And if you can explain it to me, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to figure it out. But I do have to say that this is a really interesting sneaker because of the fact that this is a brand new silhouette. According to Nike, Artifact has reimagined the dunk for the digital generation and has changed a lot about the sneaker, so in a lot of ways it's not even really a dunk anymore. It's just kind of a brand new silhouette. Obviously the design of this shoe is inspired by gaming and Web3 and skins and all sort of good stuff. And what I actually think is really successful about the design of this shoe is that it really does seem like you're wearing a piece of video game footwear on your feet in real life. There's a huge AR movement right now, and let's be honest, VR movement, where people think that they're going to spend their lives in the metaverse, and while that could be the future, who knows, this definitely feels like you're taking some of that digital world out and putting it on your feet, which I really like. But why don't we dig a little bit deeper into the Artifact Nike Dunk Genesis and find out what materials make up this shoe. Running around the toe of the sneaker on the mudguard, you've got this dark gray canvas, which actually has this super subtle printed hit right there on the lateral side. It seems like a plus sign in a circle in some sort of like rectangular shape. Kind of a cool subtle hidden detail. Then running around the edge of the mudguard, you've got this bio-based PU piping, which apparently is there to exaggerate the different shapes on the shoe. And I actually kind of dig that a lot. It's very rubbery feeling, it's kind of plasticky feeling, but it's got this cool sort of semi-gloss look to it, so it catches the light in a very unique way. Moving up to the toe, you've got what Nike calls a nubuck-like synthetic, which I'll be honest with you, feels more like leather than nubuck. Nubuck is actually a kind of leather, but this is definitely a lot glossier and a lot shinier than nubuck would be. Either way, it's synthetic and it feels a lot like what you get on most other Nike sneakers. Continuing up on the shoe to the eye stay, you've got more of this canvas material and more of these PU outlines, I guess you can call them. And then weaving through the eyelets of the shoe, you've got these lightly waxed black flat laces. Now in the unboxing, I showed you guys the second set of laces that you get with this pair of sneakers. It also comes in black, but it features these silicone lines all the way up it that kind of give it this sort of ridge texture, which I don't mind, but I don't plan on switching it out. Underneath the laces and actually running all the way up the tongue, you've got more of that synthetic nubuck-like material. And then at the top of the tongue, underneath the attachable, or I guess detachable shield, you've got this sort of plasticky area which allows you to attach the detachable shield. When I bought these shoes, I didn't realize that there was components that you could attach and detach, and I actually kind of dig that about the shoe. I just thought it was a molded piece of material that's just plopped on the shoe. And to be honest with you, I kind of like these details. I think they're really cool, and I plan to wear the shoe with these details still attached. Now the little blue capsule and the detachable tongue shield that I showed you earlier says the word void on it, because that of course is the name of this particular sneaker. I actually really like that detail. It reminds me of when you buy a lightsaber at Disney and you put in the crystal into the lightsaber and it lights up. It's kind of a similar vibe. Now this unfortunately doesn't do anything. To be fair, it might be where the NFC tag is, I don't know. But it's a really cool little addition, and it's actually got a lot of weight to it. It feels like something hefty. Like both of the ends are made of metal, and the whatever is inside, probably plastic, kind of feels like it's not cheap. Like this feels like something valuable, which is nice. Again, not sure exactly what it does, but hey, it looks cool, so that's all you can really ask for from a pair of sneakers. Continuing back on the sneaker, the topmost eyelet on the shoe is actually in the shape of the Artifact logo, which I think is really, really cool. And then moving inside the shoe, you've got this black, very soft sock liner, which kind of feels like a synthetic leather-ish, but also kind of like a neoprene. I'm not sure exactly what material that is. Maybe that's the synthetic nubuck they're talking about. I don't know, they're not very clear. Either way, it does feel good on feet. It's very plush. It feels a lot like kind of a pair of Nike SB Dunks if you were to buy a pair in like a half size up to where it wasn't like compressing your foot. This is just a very plush padded shoe. Now, unfortunately, because it's very plush and padded and there's really no ventilation whatsoever, it's a very hot shoe. I was wearing this shoe in like 90-degree weather today, which was brutal. Probably wouldn't do that again, but especially with a black shoe like this. But I mean, you know, for when it's not 97 degrees outside, it should be just fine. The insole of the shoe comes in this dark purple that when you kind of look at it from the side, you can see that there's actually lighter purple speckles, but you can't see them straight on for some reason. You've also got the Nike logo and the Artifact logo there on the heel. And one super cool detail that I had no idea was there, but I saw it when I took out the insole to film the B-roll. Nike and Artifact actually printed some code on the footbed of the shoe that you only see when you take out the insole. I have no idea what this code means. I know nothing about coding, but I know it is coding. I've never seen that done before in a pair of Nike sneakers, so kudos to Artifact for doing something I've never seen before on the inside of the shoe that you would never usually see unless you took out the insole. I mean, seriously, I found that purely by accident. That is a very, very cool Easter egg. Continuing back on the sneaker, on the midfoot of the shoe, you've got more of that black synthetic nubuck or leather material. You've got this sort of light gray grid pattern printed onto it, which does make this feel like it's I don't know, like the skeleton of a level. I really don't know what I'm talking about. It makes it feel more digital. Overlaid on top of that, you've got the Nike swoosh, which actually fades from light pink to purple, which I think is very, very cool. It's also got these laser etched details all the way across it, which gives it this very interesting texture. And of course, it's also outlined by the black bio-based PU. Then on the medial side of the shoe, instead of having the Nike logo, you actually have the Artifact logo done in the same treatment with that bio-based black PU. You've got the laser etched details, and of course it fades from a pink to a purple. And while I love the Nike logo, I think the Nike logo is great, I actually think the Artifact logo looks really, really cool on the sneaker, and I wish it was just the main logo on the shoe. I mean, lightning bolts are sick. I just like lightning bolts, and that would be cool on both sides of the shoe. Moving even farther back in the shoe, you've got more of this dark gray canvas with more of those lightly printed details. And then finally moving around to the heel, you've got another one of these detachable elements. This element says Artifact with the Artifact lightning bolt logo, and then underneath that you've got a black piece of plastic, which of course you can attach the detachable element to. I understand that some people might like the way the shoe looks better without these attachable things, but I kind of think it just looks a little bit too plain without those elements. I realize I'm saying that about a shoe that's got a bright purple Nike swoosh and a lightning bolt on one side, but it really does take on a new life when you add these details to the shoe, and I think they're very, very cool. And as I mentioned earlier, it is possible to get the CAD files for new detachable elements that you can 3D print and then attach to the shoe, which I think would be very cool. I have far too many 3D printers, probably, I think I'm up to like 14 now, which is just absurd, especially because I haven't done a 3D printing video in like a year. People just keep sending them to me. I'm not gonna say no. I love 3D printing. So if you guys want me to 3D print some stuff for this shoe, let me know in the comment section down below because I will do it. Don't test me. And I love that about this shoe. You can also do that actually on the acronym Blazers from a couple years ago, but now we move down on the shoe to the midsole, which is the biggest difference between the Nike Dunk Genesis and a standard pair of Nike Dunks, and that's the fact that instead of using a rubber midsole, they actually use a foam midsole that features air zoom units in it. Now Nike doesn't specify what kind of foam is used in the midsole of this shoe, however they do say it's compression molded foam, and if you guys saw my Nike Pegasus 41 review, I explained the difference between injection molded foam and compression molded foam. This is the version where they take a foam and compress it into a mold to give it its shape versus injecting it into a mold, so this one's a little bit stiffer. And of course it's also got air zoom units in it, I would presume too, because you've got cutouts on the heel and on the forefoot of the shoe that seem to show off the air zoom unit, so that's my guess. In addition to all of that, they've also resculpted the midsole. It's a completely different look than a standard pair of Nike Dunks. On the lateral side, you've got the Artifact logo molded into the foam itself, and then on the heel you've got this piece of probably TPU or some sort of plastic that's actually molded into the foam that says enhanced by Artifact. And then on the medial side you've got another TPU insert with the Artifact logo. And I've got to say that underfoot this shoe is very, very comfortable. Way more comfortable than a standard pair of Dunks. If you've worn Dunks a lot and you try these guys on, you'll be like, these don't even feel like Dunks, because well, in a way, they're not really Dunks. They're more so inspired by Nike Dunks, is what I would say. Now, the foam does feel good underfoot, and so do the air zoom units. This shoe isn't as soft underfoot as something like the Nike Pegasus 41, and definitely not the Invincible runs, but it is soft, it does feel good, and it's a very easy shoe to rock all day. Then finally, moving to the bottom of the shoe, you've got this rubber outsole, which is split into two parts, the heel part and the forefoot part. In the middle, you've just got exposed foam. And like I mentioned earlier, there are these cutouts that show what I think is the air zoom units in both the heel and in the forefoot. One other thing that I noticed about this sneaker, specifically the outsole, is that the outsole actually sweeps up pretty dramatically on the toe, which allows for a lot of roll, a lot more than a standard pair of Nike Dunks, and you do notice it underfoot. It's not a dramatic difference to where you're gonna be like, wow, this is crazy underfoot, I don't know how to walk in these. But it will feel different than a standard pair of Nike Dunks, and you will notice it if you wear a lot of Nike Dunks. The only reason I even bring that up is because this is apparently a pair of Dunks, and I want to compare it to a pair of Dunks. So this shoe is really hard for me to define. Is it a piece of artwork? Is it a collectible? Is it a digital, physical hybrid? Is it just a regular pair of sneakers? I don't know. There's just so much going on with this sneaker, both physically in the way that it looks and also digitally, that it's really hard to put your finger on exactly what this is. However, I will say that this is absolutely something brand new for the footwear industry. Yes, it's still a physical pair of sneakers. No, technically it's not that wild compared to like a fully 3D printed pair of shoes or the Yeezy sock shoe or something like that, but it is very different than what Nike traditionally does. And obviously there's the hype element. This shoe is incredibly hyped, and so are the other colorways, and because of that, getting a pair of these is going to be very difficult if they release them again, and you're probably gonna have to pay a lot of money for these if you want them. But hey, at this point in the video, I would love to know your thoughts on the Artifact Nike Dunk Genesis and whether you were able to grab a pair for pre-sale or whether you hit them on the sneakers app, which most likely you didn't, but hey, maybe you did. I don't know. So let me know all those things in the comment section down below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.